And there we are for a very exciting interview today. Lessons from a $30 million business. I cannot believe it to have gone so high up in creating something and not only one business, but several. Hello, Sigrid de Cast is my name. I'm bringing women of expertise together to tell their story and showcase their message because it's time to put more female brands on the map. And today I've invited Joanne Brooks, business resilience mentor to female entrepreneurs, building sustainable businesses to scale. Joanne is also an author and a business ambassador. Hello, Joanne. Great to have
Oh, happy morning. How exciting. Thank you for having me, Sigrid. I'm really excited.
Just wonderful. It's just wonderful to have a lady like you here with so much experience and expertise over a number of years, a number of times. So I'm really curious. You've launched 17 companies over the past 20 years. I mean, that is a lot. And then one of them you've taken to the 30 million
Yes.
mark within just 24 months.
Mm,
Tell me more.
what the heck?
Just tell me how it
What the
works.
heck? Well, there was a secret sauce to it in that it was an enormous collaboration and partnership, a number of transactions. So, yeah, I started my first business in 2003, and it was just me. It was in the education space in Australia. And by And that 30 million, let me just start. The $30 million business was not a 24-month overnight success. It took me 25 years to get to that point. So lots of businesses, lots of trials and errors and acquisitions and things
As
that worked and things that didn't, right? So let's be super, super
look,
clear about it.
as it always is,
As it
Joanne,
always
we
is.
have these
Mm.
glamorous ways of creating words around what we've done. And
Yes,
it is so important, especially for us as women, to acknowledge we've done something.
yeah,
And there's usually for everybody more to it than just the message said.
exactly.
So tell us how you started, how that came about, collaboration being the key word here, I think.
Mm-mm. So, absolutely. So I landed in the education space, teaching people how to do, it was in the vocational education space. A lot of players and competing with the large government version with the letters of TAFE. Very hard to compete with them because everybody thinks you're TAFE. There are actually 4,000 private RTOs in the country, all buffering for a share of that pie that TAFE have an enormous share of. So for me, it was how can I do something different? I'm delivering something the same as everybody else. So I came up with a model that I actually charge 7 times the normal price for a diploma of business. And the reason I did that was I collaborated with a lot of people. So my audience was business owners to do a diploma of business, and they would often say to me, "Why the heck would I want to do that, Joanne? I've got a skill set. Why do I need to do that?" And I would say, "Well, actually, because you're going to get all these other things." So we merged into my business an accounting practice, law firm, IT company, marketing company, property development, finance broker, finance planner, all these businesses to provide when somebody came into our ecosystem, professional services department store, if you will, they would get exposed to all the services that were in there. So when somebody signed up for my diploma of business, yes, they needed to do the diploma, but accounting advice, website done, marketing strategy done, finance planning done, all these services kicked in and came into play to give them a much bigger outcome for undertaking the diploma of business. So that, as quickly as I can, that is what I did to create the framework. Now, there was a problem in that business. I'd applied for government funding. As we know, the government across our country supports education in a massive way, massively. But you've got to apply for it, owning a registered training organisation. We were one. Are many hurdles to get through to become accredited as an RTO. We'd done that. Then I needed to apply for funding, and that was a 2-year journey. So I went, I don't want to wait for that. That's too long to wait because everybody expects funding. So I thought, well, what can I do different? Because I was a training organisation, I had all the processes, the systems. I was the first RTO to be paperless. I was the first RTO to get my compliance fully automated, which is a pretty hard job. So I had all these beautiful workflow plans, all that sort of stuff. So I went, well, where can I get the funding that I can cut a corner ethically? So I knocked on the doors of a whole bunch of competitors. So I went, well, you already have the funding. You're a large organization. I was considered the little orange speedboat, hence the orange. Always have been orange. A little orange speedboat compared to the Queen Mary, who is beautiful and doing great things, but can't move too fast.
Yeah.
So I knocked on their door and said, so I'm exactly the same as you. The only challenge is I don't have funding. And I know you have a problem with that funding. If you don't spend it all, you'll lose it. If you spend too much of it, you'll lose it. The government are quite firm on that. So I said, I'm sure you've got a gap. Can I take a part of that gap for you to help you stay within the rules of it all? And because I'm charging 7 times the normal price, you'll actually receive the exact same money as though you delivered it for nothing, just giving me access. So I managed to secure 5 of those partners, 5 collaboration partners. Got a lot of no's, got a lot of who the hell do you think you are type response. Who are
Mm.
you? You're only a little one. So they would say to me, so how are you going to do that? Oh, well, let me show you this workflow. Me show you my one-page business plan. So how are you going to support students? Let me show you that workflow. So I had everything ready because I knew that was going to be the secret. They would just toss me aside if they thought I was just some unknown person knocking on their door going, how dare you think that you can get a slice of our pie?
Mm.
When they saw that I actually understood, compliance was sorted, and that I would give them full access to what I did for the same amount of money with a hell of a lot less effort, they said yes.
Let me tap in. That is so exciting. Let me tap in. I've just made 3 points here. I want to
Yeah,
dig
sure.
in deeper
Go
with
ahead.
you, please. So when business owners say, "Oh, why should I learn anymore?" That whole scenario around learning. And I think, you are now also in your office, you have got the opportunity for business owners to go into an MBA. So you've got something more about or still about learning.
Yes,
The thing about learning, we all learn every day. The
absolutely.
formal learning is what I think most object to. What's the biggest objective that you come across when they say that? Is it just time? Is it capacity? What is it? Is there a biggest one that they come up with as a objection to learning more?
Time is often the thing.
Mm.
Business owners are always telling me, I have no time. My rebuttal is, do you actually understand you have 168 hours a week? Have you
Right.
actually monitored how you use that? Do you use it for income producing activities? How much time are you scrolling? All these sort of things. And the lovely thing about technology today, we can learn online. And as you said, I now have an offer into master's degrees. I'm doing my master's degree, and I study full time, but I work full time.
Yeah.
So, there's that flexibility for you now.
It's all about putting a
Priorities.
plan together and making priorities, I suppose, which we do often in personal lives, but then
Yeah.
we're not necessarily
Yes.
transferring it into the business.
Yes.
Love that. So learning more is always possible
So
and
important.
does give you not only that outside business boost, but your personal boost as well by saying, hey,
Correct.
I did this, I spent the
Yeah.
time. Love
Yes.
it. Love
Yes.
it. And then you said about you were out there and doing things fast. So you really got into it, looking at competitors
Yes.
and getting into it fast. Speed is something that creates more speed because things start to roll. Is that something you've experienced, and was that a component of your overall building
Yeah.
that business?
Yes. The pace was ridiculous, as you would appreciate. Like we went from 3 or 4 staff to 110 staff, and we went from about 200 students a month to 200 a week. But I will put a bit of caution on this pace. One of the things, and what I've not shared, is that $30 million business we ended up liquidating for a whole bunch of perfect storm elements. One of them was the pace was too fast.
Mm.
And so this was a massive lesson for me. What I now know is important is slow down to speed up is a really important component to business growth because you need all those elements, all those foundations, the things that are going into the ground to support the growth of the growth of your business. So you do need to have all those elements. one of the things that really put the foot down on the pedal for us is we went and found, through a lot of effort, a number of sales brokers that we monitored, we listened to their calls, all that stuff, and they went to market for us. We managed what they did, we managed what they said. So we outsourced the sales element, and they did a magnificent job. But because the pace was so fast, you will often hear me speaking about this. I missed a number of micro elements in that business that were critical.
Yeah. So really what I'm hearing, Joanne, is to come back to what you started with when you talked about the house, building a house. We need a solid foundation.
Right.
Without a solid foundation, it can cave in down the track.
Right.
So if I just recap on that, going for even competitors to bring them together for collaboration. I mean, that is a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Not many people would think to do that, and
Yes.
certainly would perhaps hesitate to do
Mm, mm.
so. Did you seek out particular types of competitors where you
Yeah.
thought you had a good chance, or did you
Yes.
just go out there and do it?
We went for the biggest ones because we knew that they had massive funding. They had the funding that we were applying for, had applied for and waiting for. Two, we knew the rules of that funding and that they absolutely would have gaps in not utilizing it all. Three, they had the capacity to take the risk of working with me if it didn't work out. So if I collaborated with someone similar size, a little bit bigger, and it hadn't worked out, I could have collapsed them. And I knew that that wouldn't be something that they would consider. Um, One of the big things that I did do, as I mentioned just really briefly, I gave them access to everything. So I was prepared to let them look in my system so they could see what I was doing. Access to CRMs, Salesforce, all that sort of stuff. But I did say to them, I will let you have access for a period of time until you and I are comfortable with one another and you know I'm going to do the right thing. So about 6 months in, I said, I'm now turning it off and I will send you a report every month. And they went, that's fine. Okay, we are now comfortable that what you're doing is what you said you're going to do, you're doing.
It's
So
that trust,
yeah,
isn't it? Building that
absolutely.
trust.
Yeah. So
That you,
I had to expose myself, which was a
yeah.
little bit confronting for a period of time, but I set the rules of what I wanted that to be.
Now let me bring it to, or let me go through the steps that I've heard you
Hmm.
mention so far. So we've got the house, the foundation is the first thing that needs to
Yeah.
be. Everything is reliant on that. That is
Yeah.
solid. When we're looking at collaboration partners, we want to have a bit of a glimpse as to who they are, is what
Right.
I heard you say. So do a
Do the
bit of
research.
research. What are they doing? How are they doing it? So you have a good foot in the door by being able to speak
Exactly.
about things they do, is what I'm hearing. And of course, building that trust, it doesn't come
Yeah.
just snap. We might
Um,
feel good with somebody that we are talking to or meeting, but we
yes.
do build more of that into the trust. And then I heard you say, of course, the slow down to speed up, just expansion too fast can really help us crumble very
Right.
fast as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell us now, from all of that, what
Mm.
you've done in the past, the success you've achieved, not just with that business, but with other businesses, what you are doing now with your business resilience mentoring. I believe you have got a support again around you, collaborators around you. What does business resilience mentoring entail that you help us with?
Yeah. Great question. So many lessons for the last 20 years. And yep, there's been a bunch of times I've scratched my head thinking, what the heck am I doing? What am I doing? So today I have my business is in three pillars. I know if is interested and keen to grow and scale their business, they've started their business, they've been very excited, they've got to a level and they go, I need some help, I want to scale. What I know is we've got to work on here first, inside here as a business owner. So
Mhm.
I have a program called the Her Transformation Program where I bring in 5 collaborating mentors. There's myself, a fashion stylist, a public speaker, an energy healer, a profiling lady, and a unconscious bias expert. All these elements come together, all these beautiful women come together, and over a 6-month program with group mentoring, etc., we work with you first internally. What's the success look like for you? What do your goals look like? How big are they? Are they big enough? Do you have a strategic plan put together? And these other ladies are working on all the elements that I know is what I needed to do what I did before. I got the fashion styling done. I got the public speaking support done. We do it every day on this screen, right?
Yeah.
So her transformation is working with you. Second element is the Elevate Consulting, which is putting in all those lovely foundations, all those things that people say, really, do I need an SOP? Do I need a policy? Do I need written documents? Yes, you absolutely do. And the lovely thing about that, as you build those, you are actually building the monetary value of your business.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, if your exit is you want to sell it, franchise it, IPO it, any of those, I can get you ready for whatever that looks like. And
Mm-hmm.
those things bring value. Then the third element, we circle back to you because now we're ready to scale and grow. And that's when we introduce the Desert Global Business School offer, entrepreneurial learning into an MBA. I'm in the middle of just finishing mine. Can't tell you what a powerful thing that has enabled me to do by working on my business, which is a new brand sitting behind me as a result of doing an MBA. And I reckon it's the 10th iteration of Navigate, but I feel we've landed.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. That's really cool. So those three elements, work on self, get all this internal stuff sorted, put the foundations together. Let's get you ready to scale and grow by building those entrepreneurial skills is what I do.
I love it. So you've got three pillars very clearly mapped out. We're working on the inside, the internal component, our mindset, everything that goes with it, so that we have a clarity for our vision, what we really want,
Yes.
not just on and off coming, but we really dig into that and build it is what you are supporting. And then the second element, um, so important for every business to have those, you're calling it, the elements, putting them in, I call it the systems, the processes. So having
Yes.
that foundation,
Yeah.
really where everything is anchored on, because that is actually what speeds up when you slow down, because you don't have to physically do it all, is what I.
Exactly.
And I love that the learning part is in this here, so that you can really up level yourself with an MBA, for example, that you really support your clients in as well.
Yes.
There is so much to dig into. So to connect with you would be the next step for anyone who wants to know more
Yeah, yeah.
details. Joanne, give us the parting big picture tip, direction for setting up the business, whether you want to have a $30 million or you just want to have whatever is the right
Yeah,
rectangle
yeah.
for you, I guess.
Yes. So when I'm talking to people who want to start a business, the first question is why? What impact? What is it? What genius do you bring? I always ask this second question, which does have people going, really? What's your exit strategy? Because you will run your business differently if over time you want to walk away. That's valid. We will run your business differently. We'll set it up differently. You want to sell it. You want to list it on a stock exchange. You want to franchise it. You want to merge with somebody. I've done all of those things. So I can help you with that. So why are you starting it? What's your purpose? What's the impact you're going to make? But how are you going to exit? So two things I want you to think about, and then reach out to me and let's talk it through.
Sounds so good. And that is wonderful insight into what you have shared here in this interview today. Now, Joanne will be on the Mind Body Business Expo coming up in May for more deeper, walking you through how to set up, how to raise or start what you are doing now from where you are to where you want to be. Joanne, I thank you so much for spending your time with us. It's been wonderful asking you some questions, and I'm sure we will be back with more at some point in time.
Thank you so much. Always good to talk to you, Sigrid.
Thank you.